What's up, YouTube? And I'm back at you with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to do my prediction for the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Florida Gators. Going to be a big matchup, and I can't wait to see it. I'm going to just go ahead and read off the stats. Got two teams uh, hitting off their SEC play, and both programs are trying to make a turnaround with their new coaches. And out the two, Tennessee is having more success than Florida is. Josh Heupel is doing a phenomenal job with his team. Was able to get some marquee wins last season. One in particularly against my Alabama Crimson Tide. Was able to end a long winning streak uh, for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And he has a very, very dynamic offense. And they no longer have Hendon Hooker. He was their guy last season and got injured. And they brought in Joe Milton. And he played really, really well last season, stepping in. They was able to beat Clemson last season, so got some good wins. This season, kind of, the offense kind of was shaky, especially in their last matchup against Austin Peay. They started off slow, but I'm not going to read too much into that. They're probably just trying to get some things going, and believe me, I think Tennessee going to be ready in this matchup against the Florida Gators. Meanwhile, the Gators came off a tough loss early on in the season against Utah. A Utah team that's pretty good in my opinion. Utah had a lot of guys. Um, Utah wasn't at full strength though. They didn't have Cameron Rising playing at the quarterback position, but they had a great backup quarterback playing, and they was able to pull off the victory against the Florida Gators. Florida Gators didn't look too good in that matchup, and they just came off of their last matchup against McNeese, and they beat them 49-7. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Tennessee is not McNeese. Um, Tennessee is really, really good team, and the Gators going to have to step up, at the quarterback position. And speaking of that, I'm going to just read off some stats for the Florida Gators. They brought in transfer quarterback from Wisconsin and Graham Mertz. He's only thrown for 526 yards. Um, his completion percentage is 73.8. He has 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But I'm looking at the stat right here. He's been sacked 5 times. So Florida's offensive line got to do a really, really good job in this matchup because the Tennessee front is really, really good. Uh, they're wreaking havoc on the D line, on the front end. So Gators going to have to get up some blocking schemes, be able to keep Graham Mertz upright in this matchup. Now, at running back, Florida has a good running back in Montrell Johnson Jr. He has 125 yards rushing. He has 2 touchdowns. He's their leading rusher on the team. They also have Trevor Etienne. So, brother Travis Etienne from Clemson. So he has 109 yards rushing, and he has a touchdown. And also, Trayon Webb is another running back that Florida has. He has 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, and also Graham Mertz got a rushing touchdown as well. But he only has negative 21 yards. But Florida Gators trying to keep that running game going that they had last season. They had a really good run game last season with Anthony Richardson at the helm. They no longer have him. So Graham Mertz doesn't have the legs like Anthony Richardson, but he can run the ball when he wants to, in situations. How well he'll be able to do that against Tennessee, it's going to be interesting. But the Florida Gators, man, they're trying to make a turnaround, and uh, they got some good wide receivers too. They got Ricky Purcell. He has 215 yards receiving and a touchdown. But Florida would like to get him the ball more. He's their guy. They also have Marcus Burke, Eugene Wilson the third, Jonathan Odom. They got some guys. Caleb Douglas, another wide receiver. Look out for. He has a touchdown. They only have 2 touchdowns on the season. This Florida offense is almost non-existent, really. They couldn't run the ball on Utah, so they're going to have to get some things working. They got to be able to run the ball, get some push up front, and be able to be good in the passing game. Against this Tennessee Volunteer team. They got Shamar James. He's a linebacker. He got the most tackles. He has 19 tackles on the team. Jordan Castell, the safety, he has the next best total tackles with 10. Just overall, this Florida team needs work both offensively and defensively. They're going to have to show up in this matchup against the Tennessee Volunteers. And speaking of the Volunteers, like I said, Joe Milton, he has thrown for 429 yards on the season. He has 4 touchdowns. They also have a talented quarterback behind him, and Nico. I don't want to butcher his name. Lemiave. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but very, very talented young man, and I don't expect to see him play too much this season, considering that Joe Milton is the quarterback. But yeah, if anything were to happen, Tennessee got a very, very good, talented quarterback behind Joe Milton. Like I said in the last matchup, the offense kind of sputtered a little bit. Austin Peay came to play, but Tennessee eventually got it going late in the second half and was able to put up the points and look like Tennessee that we know. Running back, Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, both of those guys are beasts, and I expect them to have a really, really good game against the Florida Gators. Jalen Wright, he has 233 yards on the season, and Jabari Small has 162 yards. Crazy thing, neither one of these guys got a touchdown yet, so that's going to be interesting going in this matchup against the Florida Gators. Dylan Sampson, this guy is another beast. He only has 60 yards rushing, but he has 3 rushing touchdowns, so he's a beast of a player. And then Joe Milton, he has 40 yards rushing, and he has 3 touchdowns. So Tennessee's run game is really, really good. It was good last season. A lot of people didn't really realize it, but Tennessee ran the ball more than they passed it last season, and it looked like they're keeping that trend this season. So, and that's a good trend to have. You got to be able to run the ball in this game. In my opinion, the game has gotten too pass happy, but it's good to see teams, start to run the ball. I can name a few teams that's trying to establish the run, like Mississippi State going from an air raid to run the ball. So it's good to see Tennessee's keeping that run game, in check, making sure they have that, to go with their passing game. So, as far as receiving, they have Ramel Keaton, great player. He has 118 receiving yards. He's the leading receiver. They also have Squirrel Wright, 75 yards. Brew McCoy, big dude, 72 yards. McKellen Castile, tight end, 59 yards and a touchdown. So, man, and of course, Jabari Small and Jalen Wright can go out at wide receiver as well and catch the ball. And this Tennessee offense is just really, really good. They have all types of ways that they can attack you, and that's what makes them lethal, in my opinion. Also got Dante Thornton, dude out the transfer portal. He hasn't really showed out yet, but that's another guy that keep an eye on for the Tennessee Volunteers. Defensively, Aaron Beasley. I mean, this guy's all over the field for Tennessee. 12 total tackles, 2 pass defended, 2 sacks. This guy's just all over the field. Very, very disruptive player on the defensive side of the ball. Wesley Walker, 10 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 pass defended. I mean, Tennessee's defense, man, like I said, if they just clean up some things on the back end, Tennessee is going to be a problem, man, defensively this year. They just attacking the ball. They just wreaking havoc in the backfield, causing problems for every opponent that they played so far. I think they're going to play a major role in this game against Florida, in my opinion. If I had to give my prediction, I was looking at the stats. Of course, most places I've seen, they have Tennessee win this matchup, and I agree with most people. I think Tennessee is going to win this matchup. I think the difference from this season and then from last season, Tennessee, in my opinion, I felt like they could have ran away with it last season with Hendon Hooker, but they allowed the game to be closer than what it was. I think this season, I think the key difference is going to be Tennessee's defense. I think they've improved defensively, and having that continuity with their defensive coordinator. I mean, any team that has a position coach come in, that's already been there and returning to the team, that's going to pay dividends. And I think Tim Banks is going to do a phenomenal job with that defense in this matchup against Florida Gators. Florida has, they struggled, against, Utah. And I believe Tim Banks is going to have them guys flying. You know, uh, I wouldn't be shocked if Florida lay an egg in this matchup. It can happen, but I'm pretty sure the Florida Gators going to give it their best effort. They're going to get up for this game. They're not going to make it easy for Tennessee, but I just see Tennessee win this matchup. Um, I can't name a score, but I'm thinking it's going to be a huge victory for Tennessee. They're not going to let it get close like I was last season. I think they're going to step on the gas and they're just going to let it fly. And if I'm not mistaken, this matchup is going to be played. Yeah, it's going to be played in Gainesville. So Tennessee Volunteers going to go on the road. The Swamp is a tough place to play, but regardless, I got Tennessee win this matchup. I just don't see right now the Gators, matched up with anybody. I'm just being honest. They don't look good to me. You know, they have some things they have to fix. If they had the same um, O-line like they had last season and play up to their standard, I could definitely see, the Gators might have a chance to win this matchup. But I think Tennessee is just going to be too disruptive up front. They're not going to allow Graham Mertz to do anything, and I think it's going to get ugly. I could be wrong. The Florida Gators might come in here and it might shock the world, but I just don't see it. I got Tennessee winning big. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.